Thank you. It's my pleasure to be part of this event today. Online projects where collaborative efforts of many people are put towards a common goal are often identified as crowdsourced. Although the concept of collecting data from the masses might suggest to some a less than academic pursuit, something like the wiki pages that appeared on the internet a decade ago, the idea of crowdsourcing has gained momentum in the burgeoning field of digital humanities, with new research projects on topics of how digital tools are transforming scholarship and what machine reading and big data can bring to what have typically been print-based university studies. In the sciences, the term citizen science has been adopted for the involvement of the public in scientific research when under the direction of professional scientists. And it is with such a model in mind that we can describe the Cantus database for Latin ecclesiastical chant. This has to be the ultimate crowdsourced medieval Latin chant research project, with contributions from hundreds of members of the academic community and beyond, overseen by a staff of editors with an aim to maintain the highest integrity of the data. Medieval musicologists will most likely be familiar with the Cantus database. It was begun in the late 1980s as a research tool primarily for scholars of medieval Latin chant, and basically provided tables of contents for medieval music manuscripts. Since the handwritten sources that we study are sometimes hundreds of pages in length and contain upwards of 5,000 chants, and the scribes of these manuscripts have varying sizes and styles of scripts, finding individual chants can be quite time-consuming without an index. Over the past 2 decades, the Cantus database has grown into a searchable online resource that holds complete inventories of the Latin chants found in over 170 medieval manuscripts and early printed books. Each of the over 489,000 records up to now in the database represents a single chant and contains information about that chant, such as its manuscript source, folio or page number, text, genre, such as antiphon, responsory, or hymn, the day of the year on which it is sung, its office or mass and liturgical position within the service, and the musical mode in which it was sung. Some records also have a modern transcription of the melody of the chant. Researchers, choir directors, librarians, students, clergy, and the general public have benefited from the records in the Cantus database, as they can search for a text, such as Ave Regina Caelorum, and they get a list like this. They can make further selections from such a list of results, some of which will lead them to digital images of the actual medieval source. In this slide, you can see there are some markings on the side. If it has an image, it's indicated in this main list. If it has the musical notation of a modern transcription in the record, it's there. If the full text is there instead of just the incipit, it's marked with a check mark. And so the many lists include this type of thing. This is what it looks like if you get taken to the original manuscript image in a digital library online. Now more possible than ever before, with unrestricted online access to an abundance of digital images in major European library archives, chant researchers, students, and interested non-specialists can participate in medieval manuscript studies, and through this specialized type of crowdsourcing, help to build online tools for chant research. The growth of the Cantus database is owing to the many people who have contributed to it. Some by offering their personal research, others by creating inventories chant by chant for master's or PhD projects, and some as research assistants working for the database. Contributors to the Cantus manuscript database and the Cantus Index, which is our main catalog of chants, are listed on our website and number over 100, and there are many more editors, proofreaders, and advisors behind the scenes. The chants in our catalog, the Cantus Index, number in the tens of thousands as a result of many keystrokes and many hours invested in the project. We experimented with the potential for crowdsourcing on a small scale at the International Congress on Medieval Studies in Kalamazoo last May. That wasn't my picture, but it's so Kalamazoo to be, in armor and looking at a manuscript. At our session, we invited participants to index pages right in the session from the medieval antiphonor that is currently on display at the Art Institute of Chicago, and we've seen this photo already of this antiphonor. Our eager newbies at the session entered a few chants as we taught them how to index something, but it was the session leader, Kate Helson, who did the bulk of the work that day. So, after the session, we invited Jennifer Bain's seminar class at Dalhousie University in Halifax to enter more of the chants, since the images of the manuscript are available online and look like this. To date, more than a dozen individuals have participated in the preparation of the inventory of the Art Institute manuscript. It is doubtless that with the variety of levels of expertise of contributors comes a challenge for editors of crowdsourced material. Proofreading of every record is essential to normalize entries and ensure conformity within the database. Users of our database expect a high degree of accuracy, and we must be as certain as possible that the integrity of the data is maintained. And so after each chant record has been entered into a secure part of the database, line by line, as you might see up here, we take each chant, and after that's been entered by the original contributor, it must be checked by a senior indexer before it is released into public view. Cantus has been crowdsourced primarily from a group of skilled contributors, yet the recent addition of the contents of 2 single leaves that were hanging in a decorative frame on someone's wall demonstrates that interested members of the general public can also make contributions that are significant in our field, if they're provided with an opportunity. The internet and its new digital tools are changing the way we consider research, the research community, and our connection with the public who comes across us occasionally on the web. In this morning's presentations, then, we will hear leading experts in the field of digital medieval musicology showcasing some of their results in digital humanities research, including machine reading of early music notation. It is vital to create instructional documents for a wide audience of scholars, non-specialists, and students in order that a uniform approach be established. Without standardization of at least some of the material within a database for chant, the retrieval of information will not be effective. The necessity and purpose of these explanatory protocols as written confirmation of policy decisions and their role in maintaining integrity of the data will be discussed. What happens when the contents of a crowdsourced database field are not rigidly structured, but rather are open to the indexer's design? A case study of one field in the Cantus database will serve as a demonstration of the result of decades of non-standardized coding for one of the aspects of chant melodies. And then, before crowdsourcing can begin, key decisions surround the selection of sources to digitize and inventory. How should we prioritize them? Date, provenance, type of book, types of script and notation, condition, completeness, accessibility. These are only some of the considerations when dealing with archival items that are, in many cases, over 700 years old. Building on the large body of chant data that has been crowdsourced and proofread in the Cantus database, researchers connected with the Cantus Ultimus project at McGill University in Montreal have been developing digital tools that scan and interpret medieval scripts and notation. Using standards developed in conjunction with the Music Encoding Initiative, or MEI, some of the challenges faced in interpreting and encoding the texts and melodies in handwritten chant manuscripts will be explored. Both the development of optical music recognition and the subsequent processes involving humans in proofreading of the computer outputs, including the facilitation of computer learning, will be demonstrated. This morning's presentations will close with considerations on the journey of the medieval manuscript from the library vault to your computer screen and how technology has affected our engagement with other researchers as well as a wider audience. And now I invite the speakers to come forward. Barbara, you're first.